I've been trying to get a handle on this story that's been willing itself into being for me since 1979, when all the technologies that were being developed and the questions that were being asked presented itself with a story for me of something was going to happen when we asked ourselves, well, if we have all these tools and these communication devices to digitally emit our ideas and share them and build upon them, and each have a node of communication ability where it wasn't just one way, but now we could exchange ideas and collaborate, that something special would happen with society, with culture, with civilization. That was the idea. That was the ideal that came forth. Years later, in 1995, Manfred and I went to San Francisco to follow up on that with CyberCity San Francisco.
San Francisco is a place where a lot of people come from different parts of the world to create new cultures, and that's been going on for a long time.
Ich glaube, San Francisco hat einfach für mich die Leichtigkeit von Leuten, die sich hier treffen, die Vision haben, die driven sind.
There are a lot of reasons why a lot of experimentation has happened here. The World War II and the aircraft industry, the electronics industry, Silicon Valley, personal computers.
Dass eben halt hier die Goldgräber ankamen, dass später dann die ersten Computer in irgendwelchen Garagen gebaut wurden. Also ich meine, all diese ganzen Leute, die im Grunde verrückte Träume hatten, wo man in anderen Ländern sagen würde, das sind Spinner, die kannst du nicht für voll nehmen, die können sich sozusagen hier alle treffen. Die Hippie-Kultur.
The counterculture, the hippies, the older bohemian intellectual strain, and the hackers, the original personal computer builders, all kind of meeting in one place that gives it a unique flavor.
Oder auch zum Beispiel andere Bewegungen, wie zum Beispiel der Health-Kult oder die ganzen esoterischen Bewegungen sind eigentlich auch alle hier. Und das ist irgendwie was ganz Charakteristisches für mich, die visionäre Qualität von San Francisco.
You just need a place to live and a computer, you know, essentially. Those are the essential tools. And so if you're going to sit around and spend your life in front of a computer, where do you want to spend your life? I think I'd rather spend it in San Francisco.
There's a lot of hype around the world about the information superhighway and about multimedia. Two terms which really don't mean a great deal to most people. There's something that's really happening underneath that that's not talked about, that's far more important than the 500 channels and video on demand and home shopping, kind of fluffy stuff that we hear about. When you connect a computer and a telecommunications network, you get a new medium for human communication. That's the news that we're not hearing. One of the characteristics of this medium is that a computer bulletin board system or a computer network can enable people to connect with other people who share their interests. It's a very simple statement, but from that, very profound things can be done. You can build communities, you can create new kinds of businesses, you can revitalize democratic institutions. Because it's what happens between the people that's important. And it's not really what happens to the machine that's important. We've lost sight of that with a lot of this hoopla. That's what's interesting to me.
Most people only get snapshots of the place they live, you know, or they see it changing very incrementally through time, very slowly. But if you look at city development over decades, the cities actually grow in a very organic way, and they're influenced by a lot of things that we're aware of, but we don't see the effects of. So in SimCity, I was trying to give people the feeling of what a city is like through time. And most cities are around longer than people. So we have to extend our time scale. We have to live longer to see a city growing through 200 years. And that's kind of what the game attempts to do. Well, interactivity is really what we do. I mean, that's the key to the whole thing. The graphics and the sound and the subject all are there just to support a interaction loop between the user and the computer. And that's the thing that we're really trying to engineer. Everything else is secondary to that purpose. So what that interaction is, more than anything else, will define what, how fun the game is. And it doesn't matter how educational or how interesting the idea is, unless it's fun, it's all wasted. Humans are very chaotic, very difficult to simulate, except as statistical clouds. So, for instance, the traffic, it's easy to simulate the rough traffic patterns of a city, but it's very difficult to decide where one person's going to go on a particular day. But as we move up into large numbers of people, SimCity can actually try to generate certain things on a statistical basis rather than an individual basis.
Ich arbeite für ein Online-Magazin oder eben halt für das größte oder das erste Online-Magazin. Und dann stellt sich immer die Frage, was ist online? Also der Vergleich mit einer Zeitung fällt mir sehr, sehr schwer, obwohl wir aber täglich auch irgendwie immer wieder neue Informationen reinbringen. Aber es hat nicht den Charakter von einer Tageszeitung, kann man also weiß Gott nicht sagen. Es hat für mich eher schon den Charakter von einem Magazin. Es ist aber wirklich für mich ganz schwer, das mit einem traditionellen Medium zu vergleichen. Für mich ist es wirklich mehr eine Kreatur, eine Creature, was Lebendiges. Und es wird es umso mehr noch werden, wenn wir dann die Möglichkeit haben, mit Virtual Reality zu arbeiten und mit bewegten Bildern zu arbeiten. Also man kann sich vorstellen, dass man dann eben halt auf eine Zeitung, auf eine Zeitungsseite, eine Webseite kommt, wo dann sozusagen der Titel wie im Fernsehen eigentlich sich bewegt oder auf einen zukommt oder irgendwie sowas passiert. Gleichzeitig kannst du aber jederzeit stoppen. Du kannst sozusagen die Geschwindigkeit, mit der du Informationen konsumieren willst, selber bestimmen. Die Möglichkeit hat man zum Beispiel mit dem Fernsehen nicht. Was ich auch ganz fantastisch finde, ist die Art und Weise, wie eben halt Frauen nicht nur hier behandelt werden, sondern was für eine Position Frauen hier haben. Wir haben über die Hälfte eigentlich Frauen, nun aber wirklich auch in führenden Positionen. Also wie zum Beispiel Barbara ist ja Artdirektorin. Die meistbesuchteste Site in Hotwired ist geschrieben und kreiert und hat den Geist von Shun Cohen, die Frau Julie Peterson. Also das sind die ganzen Denker eigentlich hinter Hotwire, die den Content gestalten, die zum großen Teil Frauen sind. Es ist ein sehr, sehr hochgedrehtes Lebensgefühl. Es ist auf eine Art der schönste Stress, den ich jemals hatte. Es ist aber auf alle Fälle Stress, aber einfach durch dieses Gruppengefühl und durch das, dass man wirklich auch unheimlich schnell produzieren muss. Wir arbeiten immer lange, aber wir versuchen so viel wie möglich eben halt nette Pausen zu machen. Zum Beispiel, wenn das Wetter schön ist, dann machen wir einfach irgendwie im South Park eine Kaffeepause. Aber es ist auf alle Fälle Highspeed und ich habe auch in meinem Leben noch nie das Gefühl gehabt, dass meine eigene Lebenszeit so schnell vorbeirast, wie seitdem ich hier bin. Jeder, der am Computer arbeitet, hat das Problem, dass man eben halt die ganze Zeit vorm Computer sitzt, dass man irgendwie teilweise durch den Blick in den Monitor irgendwie sich auch vielleicht verkrampft. Aber Online-Design ist jetzt nicht was speziell anderes. Also ich habe mir einfach auch immer mal überlegt, wenn ich jetzt im klassischen Design bleiben würde, würde ich trotzdem auch die ganze Zeit vorm Computer sitzen. Also kann ich dann auch gleichzeitig kreativere oder spannendere Sachen mit dem Computer selber als Medium auch anfangen.
Yeah, a lot of people are just starting to hear about online services and what they mean. Net Noir Inc. is a new media company. Net Noir Online is our first application. And we are available on a service called America Online and the Internet, which is another communication network. And it's essentially a big network of computers, and you have a computer and a modem, you log on, and you can come to Net Noir. It's a place to hang out, read, enjoy, listen, and watch. This is interesting. We're doing classes online. You can take a class. The Legend of Malcolm X, Slavery Song. It's interesting because now it's a place for people to learn. And there's a lot of talk about education and funding and all that. Basically, your cost is a computer, and you get online and you can start to take classes. There's a syllabus, book lists, and of course then you would go in and participate with the instructor and other students.
Mir gefällt das Wort Cyberstation überhaupt nicht, weil selbst eine Station hat was Stationäres. Ich würde eher das so beschreiben, dass es wie eine Zelle ist. Das ist was Rundes. Es wächst sozusagen. Je mehr wir sozusagen wachsen, desto größer und dicker wird es. Es kann auch einmal mal vielleicht geschwürartig irgendwie so ein bisschen hier und da irgendwie kritisch oder gefährlich werden. Das wird man dann auch sehen. Auf alle Fälle denke ich mir, es ist da draußen, es ist betretbar.
Ganz toll, wie. Ja, top. Wir sind da hinein.
Das ist jetzt schwer.
Das ist ein einfach rumdrehen hinein. Siehst du was?
Last year, Hugh and I got married, and it was the first wedding ceremony conducted in virtual reality. We used fully immersive systems. We both wore the virtual reality headgear, and we climbed into our respective pods, about 12 feet apart, so we wouldn't interfere with each other's tracking. And we asked the programmers to develop the world of Atlantis, because it's somewhere where you can't get married in reality.
I want to do music. That's okay. Now let's do red. What's that? Good. Good, that's good. Oh, pink.
Green. If you click somewhere else, the red will go away.
Okay. That green. Now wait. One word. I forget.
One. Like
I forget how to make it. Yeah, I like Chicago. Computer is something that has a lot of wires in it, and that you need a lot of wires and a power plant to run them. You also need to have memory. It's perfect for one, and you need megabytes. Some computers come with gigabytes, which not many computers come with gigabytes. But some computers have CD-ROMs, some don't, some are modern day, some are not modern days. So there's a lot that are a lot different. Interactive, well, someone who is interactive is someone like who can interact with other people, someone who can explain, someone who can talk to other people. And a computer's kind of interactive because it can like tell you something, or it can explain to you, or it can tell you and other people, like it has a microphone or a recorder so you can talk into it and then it'll talk back to you.
I think that the clearest way to explain it would be to tell people it's kind of like video games, but instead of blowing things up, you're reading something, you know? So that's typical, and I think that our clients see us as that, having that kind of attitude, you know, okay, it's like things move around and things are layered and you have to find things and you have to figure out weird ways to move your mouse to get it to work. So our clients are people who don't mind information as something vague or as something that you know you have to find. So people come to us who want to have, you know, who want their audience to work or to, I don't know, to have a good time.
Have an experience.
Yeah.
The Exploratorium is an environment where people have the chance to really explore different parts of nature or natural phenomena on their own. So it's designed to be a place where the visitors can really get their hands onto parts of nature and have some experiences that may be more difficult to do in the outside world, where everything is, in a sense, more complex because it's all sort of intertwined.
Sich der rasanten Entwicklung der elektronischen Technologie zu widersetzen, ist ebenso unsinnig wie der Versuch, die Wellen des Meeres aufzuhalten. Es ist nicht mehr die Frage, ob wir die schöne neue Welt wollen oder ob wir sie nicht wollen, sondern wie wir sie bevölkern und gestalten werden.
No, I don't think it really is a culture yet. It's a zeitgeist, looking to become a culture. You travel all over the world and you meet these folks, mostly male, but that's changing, mostly 18 to 40 years old. They make a lot of money. They don't speak the same language, but they understand Unix, they understand Internet, they understand Photoshop. The Wired is a real emblem for them. A lot of young people are tired of hearing that the last time something interesting happened was the 60s. They want to have their own culture. It's not really a culture yet because the values have not emerged. Now, the counterculture had values of anti-war and anti-racism and non-conformity and thinking for yourself. And I think that the thinking for yourself part of it is certainly a foundation for this. This is, don't buy your media pre-packaged from Sony or IBM. Make your own.
Woo, yeah, wow. Yeah.
Well, Total Distortion is a music video adventure game, and the difference, I think, about our product is you are a music video producer armed with video cameras and guitars and so on, and you have this big tower, and there's a science fiction edge to it, and you travel off to this other dimension in search of material for your music videos. Okay, here we go, up here. Now look out over the city. Here we are. You can got a pretty good view over here. It's kind of a hazy day today. 4701 10 District 334.
Okay, one of the really interesting things that we have here in San Francisco is we have a gentleman named Wayne Grigori who's put in public terminals in a lot of the cafes here in San Francisco. And one of the coolest things about this is that somebody can don't need a computer, you don't even need a phone, you don't even need a house. You can drop quarters in these machines and have the ultimate status symbol, the email address. So anyway, we're here at one of my favorite cafes. We're going to go check out this.
When are we going to get around to asking the same questions that Socrates asked 2,000 years ago? You know, what is the true and the good and the beautiful? What are human beings for? How should we live our lives? Increasingly, we're caught up in this machine that has its own imperative. We live our lives because it fits into the pace of the machine and the fragmented attention of the communications media. Is that the way we want to live? Is that the kind of people we want to become?
Hi, I'm Patricia McShane. I work with Eric Adigard. Our studio is MED.
Welcome to our homepage. If you'd like to find out more about our work, click one of these buttons down there. And we hope to see you on the internet. There is a level of speed in San Francisco that just doesn't happen anywhere else, as far as I know. Everybody is engaged in that same quest, sort of. So it brings a climate of competition that makes that everything happens faster. Everybody is working on the same thing. So there's a lot of stuff happening on different fronts, but it's all going in the same direction, which is to develop the new tools and the new media and the new languages of what is going to be supposedly a new age or a new culture. There is a lot of searching happening, and I think there is a fever here. There is, these viruses actually that everybody was talking about 5 years ago that were creeping into the computers. Now they are entering into our lives. And what's happening is that at the same time, we're starting to realize that, everybody's been talking about AIDS, which is a big issue in San Francisco. But there are also other viruses that are coming out of the computer, like ADD, for instance, maybe. But I think that this is a very minor one, really. I think that there are other viruses that we're starting to sense right now. I'd say dead end, evolution, development, transformation, changes, adaptation, doom, business as usual. I want to get back to simpler tools. Eventually, I always aspire to working with the minimum amount of tools, really, because I think that they should be totally fluid, if possible. Whenever possible, there should be a fluid journey from your mind to the medium, whatever that is. And the simplest way to get to there is with your bare hands, if you are doing sculpting, if you are doing clay, whatever, or to use a pencil or a brush, or maybe to rearrange objects that are in your environment. But I mean, if I can do something like that, I'm totally in control of of the creative process. When I'm working with a computer, I am entering into a contract with the machine and with all the systems that have been designed by other people, and I'm sort of trying to exploit those tools as best as I can.
I'm happy with a lot of the speeding up of the pace and fragmentation of attention that comes with computers, but it is really a tool for me to live my life the way I like to live it. And, a lot of that is unplugged from the computer. The computer enables me to unplug from it. But as a society, we don't really have a dialogue about that. We have the enthusiasts that you see at Wired, and we have the Luddites who oppose technology. We don't really have a sophisticated, complex debate in between.
The thing is, it's using 180 administrator and 188 as your username and password on there. You see, it's defaulting. You don't want that. No, because you want to log in with your own password to be you, right? Think about it. But it's thinking you're using your NT login password, Ray. You should, yes, exactly. It's going to try to use the same username and password. Whatever, I don't know, whatever you use. Yeah, you see? Okay, try that and give me a call. Bye-bye. NT, it's a horror. I try to maintain something of a spiritual focus in all of the work that we do, because spirituality is at the essence of what we are. Mircea Eliade, brilliant anthropologist from the first half of the century, said the sacred is that which ontologically founds the world. The sacred is the thing that places being, my being, your being, into the world. If we are entering cyberspace, if we're starting to express ourselves and communicate with each other in an environment where we have no sacred item, we've created no place where we can be in the world. And if we remain in that place, it will take the human part of us away, unless we endow it with sacred qualities. So I see this as a necessary inoculation to preventing the dehumanization of man through his technologies. In the north, we have a crescent moon for the wind and the air. In the east, we have a sphere for the water and for the emotion. In the south, we have a tetrahedral for fire and energy. And in the west, we have the square for the earth. But because this was cyberspace, we made the square, the cube, empty to indicate that it was an imaginal cube. And then we have an altar. And on this altar, we have a sword to represent the masculine and a cup to represent the feminine. There are a number of different forces there. The web has an energy of its own. The web definitely makes people energetic, okay? One of the things I worry about with the web is that we may all become surfers and never take anything in depth anymore. And I worry that if we're just going to sit and graze and just go from one area then to the next area without getting any depth, how will we get any idea of what underlies us or what underlies a specific idea? We've always been there. Cyberspace is a place that's always in our mind. Culture exists in cyberspace. I just spent the day in the country, and when I came back to San Francisco, I was looking over a bluff down onto the city, and I said, that architecture, that's cyberspace. It's human created. It exists in our imagination. Yes, there's a concrete reality, but the fact that it exists at all is because we imagined it and we built it. Cyberspace in the realm of the computer is no different.
Ich glaube, dass wir fast schon auf eine Art gezwungen sind, viel zu vergessen, wieder viel rauszufiltern, weil ich glaube, dass wir in einem Informationsüberschuss leben. Für mich ist es auch nochmal so ganz deutlich geworden, seitdem ich hier bin, die Fülle an Informationen, mit der ich sozusagen die durch mich hindurchfließt. Also sozusagen durch meinen Körper, durch meine Hand, durch die Maus, durch den Computer, durch den Server ins Netz raus, ist jeden Tag gigantisch. Und manchmal habe ich so das Gefühl, wenn ich dann abends nach Hause komme, es ist mir zu viel, weißt du? Es ist mir manchmal einfach zu viel und ich möchte dann eigentlich aufschreiben und möchte dann irgendwie so irgendwas festnageln, weil ich so denke, da waren interessante Sachen dabei. Und andererseits denke ich so, ich muss es auch als Selbstschutz wirklich vergessen.